Hi guys, good news today. Ta-da! Can you see how much that has risen by? We just needed to have patience. Now it's not quite doubled, so I'm going to give it one more day, and I have a super big jar. These are great jars to store your starter in, but if you just take the plastic part out of it, because you want it to be able to breathe a little bit, okay? So I'm just going to pop this, and I can see that the consistency of it is starting to change as well. It's starting to get a little bit stretchy. So let's just give it one more day and see what happens. I hope you're managing to follow along and make your own starter with me. It's super exciting. So we're almost ready to start making our sourdough. So if you don't have your strong flour bought in yet, you need to be buying that now. Okay, so let's just leave it like that. Pop the lid on. I'm not even going to clip it closed. Get my little marker off here again and leave it like that. Okay, so here's hoping for a massive big rise tomorrow, and then we'll start making sourdough. God bless. So today is day 8, and I know on the last video I told you to you remember how it had risen by about 1.5 times the amount, and it went really nice and bubbly on top. That was enough, and I shouldn't have gone ahead and put it back into the beaker again because it hasn't risen at all. So yesterday was peak day, so if you can bear that in mind, really sorry. This is how cooking is. It's mistakes and all. So yesterday was peak day, and we're going to if you pretend that this was the peak day, we're going to use the starter now, and we're going to feed it. Well, officially this is known as the seed here, and we're going to turn it into a starter. So I'm going to pour in just 1 cup, which measures in terms of 198 grams. I find the grams actually much more accurate, and I know some of you are so used to cups all your lives, it's probably difficult to switch to grams. But actually for something like this, I find it super accurate. So that's about 198, you could say 200 grams, okay? And into that I'm going to pour 2 cups of strong flour, which is 255 grams, and 1 cup of lukewarm water. Is it 1 cup? Yeah, which is, gosh, I can't read my own writing. 1 cup of lukewarm water, which is also 255 grams, plus 2 tablespoons, which I just read there now. You all know what a tablespoon is. It's the bigger version of your dessert spoon. So your dessert spoon looks like this, and the tablespoon is bigger. So it's about 4 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons there, okay? And then you just mix that all up together. You can throw away the rest of your seed, or you can give it to a friend, or you could keep it in the fridge for an emergency, whatever you want to do. I threw mine away because I don't need it. So we're going to mix this all up until all the flour is completely incorporated in here, okay, into the moisture. And you can see how nice and thick that is. Just keep mixing until you can't see any flour on its own, okay? I am determined to go for a walk today, hence the hoodie. If I don't put the runners on and the hoodie on first thing in the morning, it just doesn't happen. Okay, so that's that mixed. I'm going to wash this out, and I'm going to put it back in here because it will definitely rise. So you need a big storage jar. So I'll pause the video. So guys, I've washed out my jar and put my starter back into my jar. I'm going to mark it again with my little label, just like that. And I'm going to just leave the lid on loosely. Now I have taken out the plastic rim. You know the way on these jars you get these little plastic rings? I've taken that out because I want a little bit of air to get in there. So I'm just going to leave it like that, okay? Now, here's the thing about sourdough and making starters and seeds and all those things. Everybody has a different way of doing it, and I've watched 50 million videos and blogs and blah 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 blah, talked to different people, and this is just one way of doing it, and it's really for those of you who struggle like me to understand the science of what's going on here. Honestly, I have had to read things 50 million times before I could, you know, take it in here. So this is just a step-by-step walk. It's not the only way. I'm not an expert, and I nearly didn't do this because I struggle with the science of it, but I don't need to know everything. I just need to make good bread, and when I follow this recipe, I make good bread. Oh, speaking of which, I have one in the oven now, and it might just be ready on time to show you guys. Ooh, it is. This one didn't rise so much, but it looks pretty good all the same. So that is this starter is going to go in on the windowsill for 6 to 8 hours today. So tonight, then it should start to bubble up a little bit, and then you put it into your fridge overnight, and it will continue to work there, and then it'll be ready to use tomorrow morning, which is day 9. Okay. If you don't have time to use it on day 9, it'll stay okay in your fridge for 3 to 5 days before you have to feed it again. Okay, are you with me? We're almost there. We're nearly sourdough ready. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Over onto the windowsill until tonight, and then pop it into your fridge overnight. So hey guys, it's evening time now, and I'm about to pop this fella into the fridge, but I just wanted to show you what has happened today over those few hours that, well, what time did I film this morning? About 11, and it's now 9 o'clock. So it's probably a little bit over the amount of time that I should have left it out. But look, absolutely unbelievable rise. So I'm going to pop that into my fridge now overnight, and I'll see you in the morning, and we can start making sourdough tomorrow. Well done, guys, if you've got this far. God bless. Thanks for watching. Good morning, and here we are. What day are we on? Is this day 9 or 10? I can't remember. I'll put it up there. But I just wanted you to see what's happened overnight in the fridge. So overnight, when I put it into the fridge last night, it was up to here, and it's dropped down here. So this starter is now not at its optimum point. When you start to see it drop a little bit, it's not going to be as active. So you want to get it when it's at its peak point up here at the top, and you'll know it's active. I'll show you my other one over here. That's at its peak point, okay? So this is where, I hope you can see this. This is where I had it, right? When I put it in, when I fed it, it was to here, and it has risen up to here, and you can see how it's still bubbling up on top here, and it hasn't really started to drop, maybe a tiny bit. So this is perfect, and this is ready. Now, okay, let's go back to the one that we have, that you probably have, that dropped overnight by this much. You're going to have to feed it again to get it to the other point, okay? So what we do is we measure, and I'm using my electrical scales, which I couldn't be without, to be honest. And I'm going to put 200 grams of lukewarm water, okay? And I'm going to put 140 grams of my starter here into, look how lovely and stretchy it is. So give it a little stir first, and pop 140 grams in here. So let's start with that. Also, another good sign of a good starter is it floats when you pop it into water. So this is not quite floating because it has passed its peak activity. So that's about 140 grams there. And I'm going to add now, at this point, 200 grams of strong flour. So you're always adding equal parts flour and water. So 200 grams of water and 200 grams of flour. And we're going to let this sit at room temperature until we see that peak activity, and then your sourdough or your starter is ready to use for sourdough, okay? So I'll put this back into a clean jar. I'm just going to use this one here because it's cleanish. Just used it for measuring flour, okay? And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what do you do with all the other starter that you have left over? So you can do a couple of different things. You could be a really good friend and give it to somebody else who didn't have time to go through the whole 9-day starter process. Or you can actually fry it. Don't throw it out. What I usually do is I put oil in a pan and I tip this into the pan, sprinkle a little bit of salt on there and a little bit of mixed herbs. If you have some chopped fresh chives, you could put some on, or scallions. Cook it and then flip it over. Delicious fried bread. There's a whole host of, so this is called your discard. So there's a whole host of recipes that you can use your discard for. Alternatively, you could keep it in the fridge as a secondary starter if you wanted to switch it around. Okay, so I'm going to mark this again and I'm going to cover it and leave it on top of the windowsill, and it should be ready to use within maybe 4 hours or so, okay? So actually I probably need to move it into a bigger jar because this is to give it a chance to double in size. This is too small. Okay, we're nearly there.